your God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. You cannot elicit a response from yourself or the universe without a vibrational resonant invitation. We deduced that in the case of a person who lost their winning lottery ticket, they must have felt that opportunity was always slipping through their fingers. But what could Steve Irwin's vibrational stance be? I'm quite sure that I know. I'm sure that it was probably a running joke among his friends and himself that he would never be killed by the fierce creatures that he handled, but that it would instead be by something stupid or a fluke accident that would kill him. The two main resonant qualities of this vibrational stance were first, that there was a lot of talk and feeling about possibly dying, and second, if it did happen, it would be something unexpected and a surprise. That is exactly what happened. It just so happened by accident that the stinger of a stingray in the ocean just happened to flip around and puncture his flesh, not in his leg, not in his arm, but exactly where his heart was. It was a fluke accident and a total surprise that this man faced real dangers every day and would be killed by a simple encounter with a stingray. I am quite certain that this was the vibrational cause of his untimely death. Thank you. At this point in our vibrational analysis, I want to say thank you. You have wanted to have this information for a long time. I know, because I've been wanting to write it for a long time. This book, like any other manifestation in the universe, was elicited into existence by you, the collective you, that is. As you were thinking about it, that vibration was eliciting the elements into place so that that information would become available to you. I have to tell you that so many things happened on my end that finally forced me to get this book done. I had been putting it off because I knew it was going to be a major undertaking, and I kept thinking I'd get to it later. But as the years rolled by, you kept wanting this information, and things, seemingly bad at the time, kept happening to me that ended up giving me plenty of time to write this book. Of course, at the time, I thought, why is this happening? But, as always, I knew the answer was, it's working out for me in some way. And sure enough, I got this book done. Now that I look back on all those weird and unexplained series of events that transpired, I realize that they couldn't have happened in a more perfect way for me to have the time and drive to get this book done. I am so glad now to have this work done and in your hands for your enjoyment and growth. So, I just want to thank you now for helping to cause all those weird events to happen to me, which created the perfect environment for me to write this book for you. It was you who elicited it into existence and the infinite wisdom of the universe, and through its amazing resonance system that this book was manifested through me, and I'm glad that it was. We just saw how your wanting this book, evidenced by your reading it now, caused a series of events to transpire with me, which ended up creating this book. Here is another vibrational thought meaning. Let's see if we can figure out what kind of an event it might elicit or cause. This is the meaning or thought. Wild things seem to happen to me, but I always seem to come out of them somehow safe and sound. If this were an event or situation, what would it look like? How would it manifest? Something really scary and deadly happens, but he still ends up safe despite the dangerous event. Wow, let's look at this illustration. This is crazy. I'm going to read it first. This was one lucky guy. Look at the first picture above, and you can see where this guy broke through the guardrail on the right side where the people are standing on the road. You can see him standing up there. His truck left the road traveling from the right to the left. He flipped end over end across the culvert outlet, and landed on the left side of it where you see the truck now. Now, look at the second picture on the right. Okay, in this illustration, this guy had an accident with a pickup truck. He came careening through a guardrail, hit this culvert, which was only out from the road by about 12 or 15 feet. It looks like the nose end of the truck dove into the culvert, bounced on the nose of the truck flipped over, landed right side up on the other side of the culvert, about 10 feet off the road from the guardrail. But within about 3 feet of the edge of that truck is a sheer cliff that goes down, I'd say 100 feet, a couple hundred feet. That truck careening through that guardrail could have easily gone right down into that huge, I guess it must be some kind of a mining pit. The guy would have died for sure. But instead, he came careening through the guardrail, right on the very edge of the road, slammed into the culvert, flipped over. This truck is flipping into the air at high speed. Obviously, it had to be high speed for it to flip as far as it did. Flip into the air, land upright on the other side of the culvert. The guy's okay, and he could have been killed by it going into the culvert. He could have been killed after it flipped over, and it could have landed on its top. Instead, it landed upright. And he didn't go into the mining hole. I don't know what you want to call that, a quarry. He didn't go into the quarry. He would have absolutely been killed then. It was an accident that turned out fine for him. His truck is probably still drivable. That is the kind of thing that happens when you have a meaning that wild things seem to happen to me, but I always seem to come out of them somehow safe and sound. So the guy has a meaning that things are always happening to him, and sure enough, they happen to him, but he always seems to be safe. And sure enough, he turned out to be safe. For me, I wouldn't go around telling people that kind of thing, because when you say those kinds of things and you have those kinds of meanings, these kinds of things happen to you. I was watching a thing on the internet, and this guy, it was a video, this guy was saying weird things are always happening to me, and he was telling a story on the video of how he was going down the freeway, and all of a sudden he had a sense that he needed to pull over in the emergency lane. Must have been about a 6-lane highway. And so he quickly pulled, just as he pulled to the left in the emergency lane, to the center of the highway, a ladder fell off of the truck up ahead of him, and the ladder came flying back right where his car would have been. If he didn't, now he moved before the ladder came off the car. He had a sense that something was happening, and he moved just in time. Otherwise, that ladder would have come right through his windshield. And he said, weird things are always happening to me, but I always seem to be turning up okay. So what's happening? He's creating more of those things. Now, this is another interesting point about that. Remember our 911 analysis on resonance and how there was some people that had a gut feeling as the resonance was building, as the frequency was maturing. This guy had the feeling that something bad was going to happen to him, so he didn't go to New York. Same thing here. There was a frequency. There was a situation forming with the ladder. Situation forming for this guy. And as it was forming, he was resonant with it, and he could feel something was wrong. And he got the feeling he should move over to the left. He should move over into the emergency lane. And so he did, because he went with his gut feeling. And sure enough, the ladder came back. It kept him safe. That's how it works. The guy with the 911 situation, now, he had a gut feeling that something was going to happen to him and that he shouldn't go to New York. But yes, the trade centers got crashed, were destroyed, and he would have been in there. He could have been killed in the building. But maybe it wasn't that. Maybe the plane he would have been on would have crashed. Maybe on the way to the airport, he would have been in a crash in the car. It could have been a lot of different things. But all he knew is embarking on that journey, embarking on that trip, something was wrong about it. And so he got the feeling to pull into the emergency lane, to cancel the trip, to not go. And sure enough, it saved his life. Same thing with the guy with the ladder. It saved his life. This guy, well, the only advice I can give this guy is don't be telling people about this story. Don't tell everybody about this amazing thing that happened to you and how it's amazing that you survived, because you know what happens? People have something like this happen to them and they got to tell everybody about it. So what are they doing? They're strengthening that vibration. They're going to have more things like this happen. And whatever, they better not say, I hope it doesn't kill me next time. If they say that, then they've opened the door to death, is what they've done. It's like people that got a disease. Unfortunately, they got to tell everybody. Don't tell everybody. Don't talk about it. Because as you tell people, listen how this works. As you tell people about your disease, when they see you, what are they thinking about? They're thinking about your disease. They're helping you elicit it because that's how they see you now. They see you as diseased. Don't talk about that stuff. Don't talk about or think about anything that you don't want. This guy here, something like that happened, ignore it. Forget it. If you forget it and put it out of your mind, don't talk about it. Don't tell stories about it. Don't take pictures of it. Then you help that vibration to settle down and become an inactive vibration and fade into your past. But if you talk about it, you just bring in more of that kind of thing onto you.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, chapter number 11, segment number 27. Let your quest for knowing continue.